We are starting off with half a cup of cooked sweet potatoes. This sweet potato, you have to microwave it. Do not roast the sweet potato. And I know the health critics is gonna say, don't microwave it. That's bad. I don't care. This is what the recipe calls for, okay? We're putting in 1 egg white, 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 1.5 tablespoons of honey, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Once you add all the wet ingredients, we're gonna mix this all together. And it should look like this. Now we're on to the dry ingredients. You're gonna add 3/4 cup of oat flour. I also use 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. We're gonna add in 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder and some fine sea salt. Once you have all the dry ingredients in the bowl, we're gonna mix this all together. Now we're putting the wet ingredients with the dry. In this part, you're gonna make sure everything is mixed together. So in the bowl, we're gonna stir it together, and then I'm gonna just keep stirring until it starts forming a ball. Then once it starts forming a ball, like all the ingredients are sticking together, then it's time to use your hands. So you're gonna use your hands until it completely forms a dough ball. So I think I was doing this for maybe a couple minutes. If your dough comes out too dry or sticky, add a little bit more flour, but mine was perfect. So now you're gonna form a disc. It shouldn't be too flat, but it should look just like this. Then we're gonna wrap it up and we're gonna refrigerate this for at least 20 minutes. This is very important. So it was in the refrigerator for 20 minutes. Now we are unwrapping it, and I'm just gonna roll out 2 sections of this dough. So I'm just cutting it in the middle. You're gonna place 1 parchment paper on the bottom, then on top of the dough, another one. Then we're gonna roll this bad boy out, and we need this dough to be thin, super thin, because when you think of Frosted Flakes, they're very thin, because the thinner they are, the crunchier your cereal is gonna be. You don't want no crackers. You don't want like thick cereal, because then it's not going to be a crunch. So you need this thin, paper thin, because I don't want y'all saying it didn't work because it wasn't thin enough. Now we are cutting the dough. So I'm using a knife, and I'm just cutting off just irregular shapes, because Frosted Flakes is not perfect. So yeah, I like this part because I don't know why I like this part. I just liked it. So yeah, you're going to continue doing this. And this is the second half of the dough that I'm doing this to. Once you cut both parts of the dough, I'm just putting another parchment paper on here and rolling it again before we put it in the oven, because again, we want this paper thin. I'm gonna bake this dough at 300 degrees for at least 8 to 12 minutes. Once the 8 to 12 minutes is done, you're gonna flip the flakes. Reduce the oven to 225 degrees and bake for another 15 to 20 minutes until it's dry and crisp. Then you're gonna turn off oven, crank the door open a little bit, and leave it in the oven for 10 minutes. The only thing about the cereal is it's a lot of steps. It's not hard steps, it's just important steps. And you're gonna let these cool completely for at least 30 minutes, and then they will crisp up the more they are cool. I'm also just separating the flakes, so just breaking them in half. It don't have to be perfect again. And now it's time to make the frosting. So exciting. This is a really light frosting. It's not as sweet as the original Frosted Flakes, of course, because I want it to be, a little healthy. Now, if you want more frosting, you could absolutely double what this frosting calls for. So the frosting consists of powdered sugar, cornstarch, almond milk, vanilla extract, and a little bit of salt. You're going to use a tablespoon and a half of powdered sugar, a half teaspoon of cornstarch, 1 to 2 teaspoons of almond milk, and then we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Again, if you want more frosting, you could definitely double these ingredients. Now it's time to frost the flakes. This is very key. Do not pour the frosting on the flakes, because then your cereal is going to be soggy and it's not going to be crunchy. You're going to brush the frosting on this. Or you could lightly drizzle the frosting slowly though. So you see how I'm doing this little by little, and then at the end we're just gonna mix this all together, so then most of the flakes are frosted. Now I'm just gonna use my hands and just kind of make sure it's on almost all the flakes. It's probably not gonna be on all of them, but most of it. And once it's frosted, we're gonna put this back in the oven at 200 degrees for at least 8 to 10 minutes. Turn off the oven and crank the door for 5 minutes, then cool completely. This step is very important because you want your cereal to be completely dry. So once they're dry, put it in a jar with a lid. And that is all, you guys. You done made some sweet potato frosted flakes. I don't know, lately I've been into cereals, and especially sweet potato cereals, just kind of thinking outside the box. But it's so refreshing to just make your own cereal that's healthy with ingredients that you know. And yeah, with Frosted Flakes, I like eating it dry, but for the video, I'm just gonna pour my milk in there, almond milk to be exact. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again. And I will have more sweet potato recipes because I'm the sweet potato queen. But like this video and subscribe. Okay, bye.